Very worrying. This is what makes the narcissist's persistent temper. You have to be on your toes and always watch your step around a narcissist, because you never know what can set them off or how strongly or violently they might react to anything. You learn to watch your words and actions around them because of their unpredictability. They act on impulse and are easily angered. What, though, accounts for their prompt response? For what reason are they behaving so badly? Everyone. In this episode, we'll go through the 5 factors that cause narcissists to respond so quickly. Subscribe to the channel and enable notifications by clicking the bell symbol before we begin. Stay until the very end, because the 5th one is where things really start to get interesting. So, let's begin. The first is that narcissists are concealing a great deal. Narcissists disguise the fact that they prefer a relationship in which you give, and they take rather than one in which both parties contribute and receive. The last thing they want is for you to express your desires and inquire about their plans, strategies, and routines. No matter what you do or say, they expect you to keep contributing. It really upsets and irritates them whenever you raise a question or bring up a problem. In this situation, they feel no obligation to answer you. The result is an angry reaction designed to silence you. You learn to censor yourself for fear of their reaction, and this occurs no matter how politely you express yourself. You can say exactly what you want and provide the ideal conditions for them to listen without getting defensive, and they still won't. They will reply and still disappoint you. Why? They are hurting and using you, but they can't let the truth out. In order to prevent others from seeing the true them, they put on facades of normalcy and even friendliness. If they intend to keep you around and offer you false hope, they will sprinkle their reaction with the occasional breadcrumb. In addition, and our second point, narcissists have problems regulating their emotions. Narcissists learn early on to shut down their emotional processing centers. Because of this, it is challenging for them to regulate their emotions. They stuff their emotions down so deep that they eventually decay in the cellar of their brains. Then a trivial event triggers a recollection of their terrible nature. They create this false identity to avoid confronting their underlying feelings of shame and insecurity. However, it doesn't always perform as expected. All it takes to set up a complete and utter shit show is a little recollection and a tiny little trigger. You're going to come out of this worse than they are. The insanity of this circumstance lies in the fact that the trigger pattern is never noticed. In their minds, you're to blame for everything that's going wrong, even when it's really their own troubles and trauma. They constructed a barrier to keep outsiders at bay. It's amusing that, in the end, they wind up hurting everyone else. Because of their emotional immaturity and lack of development, they are emotionally dense. Aggression and intimidation are all they know how to do, because anger is the most obvious emotion to display and the quickest and easiest way to gain control of a situation. As a third reason, they are constantly attempting to disprove any claims about them. They feel the constant need to show their worth to the world by gaining the attention, adoration, and acceptance of others. Because being ignored causes them to experience humiliation that could kill them and destroys their sense of uniqueness, it is something they absolutely cannot tolerate. Superior to the rest. An ideal individual who has no use for other people. They get hostile when you disregard their needs or refuse to comply with their demands because they believe you are treating them as less important. To not comply with their directives is interpreted as a sign of disobedience and lack of loyalty. Not being the ideal supply for them makes them furious, and they won't stop until they teach you a lesson. However, a narcissist can never truly acknowledge that they are dependent on and survive because of others. Extraordinary. I like to refer to them as mutated codependents instead. Despite their best efforts to make you believe otherwise, they care far more about what you think of them than they do. Fourth, they have an internalized pressure to present an ideal image. Since they don't know who they are, narcissists are plagued by feelings of worthlessness and shame. They need frequent affirmation from others to suppress the negative emotions and mask the sense of worthlessness they feel. They persist in their self-aggrandizement and believe they are superior in every way. Due to their obsession with perfection, they can be extremely demanding. However, in reality, things don't operate like that at all. In other words, there is no such thing as perfection. Of course, none of our actions are without flaws, but that's fine. However, the narcissist has difficulty accepting that. They go berserk when something or someone isn't flawless in their eyes. As a result, they refuse to admit that they have limitations. Thus, they make demands of you and of themselves that can't possibly be met. Their pain is entirely internal, and that's why it hurts. They pressure us to take action against you because you keep trying. Addition is always a plus. They believe that other people are responsible for all of the negative outcomes in their lives, despite the fact that they are oblivious that they are a slave to their own choices. The fifth reason is the most intriguing. They're very sensitive to criticism. Narcissists are unable to cope with any form of criticism, whether actual or imagined. It's their one major flaw. It makes them feel as like they are losing control, since it brings up all the shame they have been attempting to suppress. They act in an animalistic and erratic manner in an attempt to exert power over the outer world, of which you are the most vital component. They become their monstrous selves when they are criticized. They take every precaution to avoid detection. They're so angry that they wreck everything in their path. Assuming you are likewise prone to acting on impulse, this is quite true. If narcissists mistook our criticism for actual criticism, they would become violent and damage objects or hit us. It would take pleading for them to stop. There was zero sense of guilt or sorrow. Narcissists, in a nutshell, have a negative reaction to criticism or negative feedback. This is all I can say in today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. In any case, I look forward to meeting you all again soon. We need to start improving our health now, though.